in welcoming our Minister of Education, the Honorable Priya Manikchand.
Thank you. Please sit. Thank you very much, Kunita. Always can be counted on to do an incredible job. And if you heard when Teddy was speaking, the raucous, positive heckling at the back, I believe it was from the Assistant Chief Education Officer for Primary, Rabindra. And the reason he was so happy, it was him, right? I thought so. Was because of what we had to deal with. We don't talk about COVID anymore, and we're not here wearing our masks, and we don't have sanitizers at the door, and we're not separated by 6 feet, 2 feet, whichever one. We've forgotten about COVID when it was happening. But the children who wrote these exams were in grade 3 when we asked them to stay home. Grade 3. A really foundation year for literacy, numeracy concepts, for concepts in science and social studies. Extremely difficult to teach online or through packages. Very hard. Because they were young at the time, grade 3 is just out of the early childhood phase where it's very hard to keep their attention online, except of course it's a game or Minecraft or ways of making sure we caught up the learning loss and that we engaged our children meaningfully. And some of the things Kunita spoke to you about, consolidating the curriculum, testing only up to a grade 5 level, providing textbooks to all children across Guyana that were hitherto then only available to wealthy children, Georgetown-based children, or children whose parents had a credit card and could jump online, buy them and ship them in. And you'll hear about what that produced. We expanded the learning channel to make sure children across the hinterland have access to all our video shows on each topic. And that meant giving each community, who can access this now, by the way, and getting to see this, television, solar, and satellite, and paying for that, and getting it set up, and making sure all the past papers and curricula was posted online so that it wasn't only who knew somebody in the ministry that could get it. Everybody could. Every subject we have done either marginally better or significantly better. But particularly, I want to give you 2 figures so that you'll understand why we're pleased. And pleased for us never means we're stopping. We're coming for more. But in 2019, we had at Queen's College, 140 children placed. Of those, 89 were from private schools and 51 were from public schools. 89 from private schools, 51 from public schools. In 2023, we are placed in a minute, and this year, 106 are from private schools and 83 are from public schools. We've closed the gap, and investment produces results. We're convinced of that, so we won't stop investing our children. And today you'll see some of that. In top 5 schools, I want to be very careful how I say top 5, but you know what I mean, the national schools, QC, Bishop, Saints, Roses, Josephs. We are placing 868 children. And of that 868, 499 are from the public schools and 369 are from being awarded places at our national schools than private school children. We love private school children. They are our children. And we are very appreciative of the spaces and instruction given and the attention paid to those children. And that is why they're never left out of any ceremonies we have. But there has always been a bemoaning, rightfully so, of the disparity in performance between private and public. And it was always something we had our eyes set on. So, and I want to say one other thing. We're placing, and I said just now, 868 children in the national schools, as opposed to said capacity in those schools. We've given another classroom to Queen's College, another classroom to the Bishop's High, another classroom to Saints, and so on. So we could place as many children as we can into these schools. And I want to say this, for all the children watching us particularly, if we could have placed 1,000 children into first form or grade 7, right, math, you'd have to write it back in form 5 or grade 11. We're saying the teachers, the same type of teachers, and these memos are going to go out shortly from the CEO's office. Head teachers will not teach. At the large schools, you'll have 2 deputies who have reduced periods so that they could supervise better. All of the high schools across the country, we hope to introduce at least one sport. We're going to insist that each child participates in at least one sport, one musical instrument, at least one foreign language, a TVET subject, and leave with a strong sense of volunteerism. These are not services that we are limiting to the Georgetown schools or the national schools. So to all of you watching, whichever school you got, our commitment to you is that the service will be the same and our monitoring from the education departments in the country will apply to effectively make sure all those services reach you. Do not despair about this is a placement exam. It is to place you in a school. Your whole life is ahead of you, and you're living in really exciting times in this country where there are going to be many, many, many opportunities in different fields and different areas. And your schooling is going to prepare you for participation in a meaningful way in those. Now, to why you're all here, and to the people who are fretting online, I am about to begin the official release of results. Before I begin, I want to particularly thank the National NDMA, led by Ngsa. They're here, and they do, Lloyd, Ngsa, and team, they do incredible work that is confidential and accurate, and that means the world to us. And you know, I always hear, so I think I should pause a minute to let you know how this works. CXC manages the whole writing and marking process, and then NDMA manages the placement. And all of this is based on a script that your children write on and submit. Randomly, so in the marking center, you have tables marking question 1 on social studies, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5, question 6. The table marking question 1 will never see question 6. The table marking question 2 won't see question 5. And they will not see science, English, or math. They're doing one question in one subject and submitting it. When they mark and submit, the table leader checks that back, 30% of the scripts. Then it goes to another team where they check back 100% of the scripts to see if any mistakes were made, if anybody marked somebody down, marked somebody up. After that process, CXC at some point rechecks again. So you have a marking thrice by different people. So I hope I explained to you that it is extremely difficult to fiddle with these results. I would say impossible. I would say impossible without major collaboration amongst large numbers of people. So what the children got is what they got. Just so that you know. And I said that in jest, but there are always people willing to make mischief. They'll sit down and they'll count how many from where and who looks like, and they will come to you with mischief, which is why we're not making these things secrets anymore. CXC gets nervous when we release some of these details about how this is done, but we did a whole video this year on it, not identifying people, but so that people could understand that it is very difficult to fiddle with these results. Very, very, very difficult. So, the NGSA results will be available online immediately after the completion of this program. Parents and students are advised to log on to the following website, http://exams.moeguyana.org. Got it right. The candidate's timetable will provide the necessary information to access these results. We were clear, if you didn't give back your textbooks, you can't get the results. Not because we want to be cruel, but we want to give the children who are going into grade 6 the same chance you had. The highest possible standardized scores obtainable were mathematics 132.2, English 124.7, social studies 125.1, science 125.7. The highest possible total score obtainable was 507.7. President's College. President's College is one of the A schools in Region 4. Non-residential places are awarded to candidates in Region 4 from Mahaika to Cummings Lodge, who have attained a minimum score of 480.8 marks. Residential places are offered to candidates from Regions 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, who have attained 480.8 marks and above. A total of 342 candidates from those regions are eligible for entry into the school. Additionally, 28 candidates from Regions 1, 7, 8, and 9 are eligible for placement at President's College. They attained a minimum score of 470 marks. I will now move on to telling you who are the top students from the various regions. Region 1, Sushana Henry from Hosororo Primary, who attained the Bishop's High with 498.1 marks. Sushana is here. Stand, Sushana. Nalise Castello, Hosororo Primary, 491.5, St. Rose's High. Levon Dave Farnham Barbina Primary, 488.6, St. Joseph's High. Roxanne Grace Adams, Sacred Heart Primary, 479.2, Northwest Secondary. Quaison J. Andre Cook, Santa Rosa Primary, 475.6, Santa Rosa Secondary. Nia Samuels, Quibana Primary, 474.2, Santa Rosa Secondary. Cressida Cole, Hosororo Primary, 473.9, Northwest Secondary. Charmel Celine Blake, Warramuri Primary, 473.8, Santa Rosa Secondary. Ebony Waddle, Mabaruma Primary, 470.4, Northwest Secondary. Melina James, Hosororo Primary, 496.6, Northwest Secondary. Region number 2. Avron Joshua Dudnoth from Sparta Primary with 503, going to Queen's College. If he's here, could you please stand? Is that you? So he's the top student in Region 2. Kaylee Luciana Dharam Raj, Better Hope Primary, 502.9, Queen's College. Davina Ramlal, Aurora Primary, 502, Queen's College. Brittany Deandra Charan, who's there in Primary, 501, Queen's College. Bomisha Ambika Jaggernaut, Sparta Primary, 500.1, Queen's College. Zahid Bakas, Al Madina Islamic, 500, Queen's College. Crystal Annabelle Gangaram, CV Noons Primary, 498.8, the Bishop's High. Celicia Naomika Prasad, who's there in Primary, 498.1, the Bishop's High. Krisana Chaitram, Charity Primary, 498.3, the Bishop's High. Sumaya Mariam Khan, Aurora Primary, 497.3, the Bishop's High. And for Region 3, Glassford George Odwin Archer from Lenora Primary, 506.7, Queen's College. Glassford, could you stand? Oh, there you are. Glassford, stay standing. Region 3 had a tie for the top spot. The next person is Ratisha Amisha Gobin, Academy of Excellence, 506.7. So Ratisha and Glassford tied for top, and Ratisha's from the Academy of Excellence got Queen's College with 506.7. Third person, Riyad Nathan Bax from Sarswat Primary, 505.7, attaining Queen's College. Sajid Muaz Amin, Tushan Primary, 504.9, Queen's College. Ashliana Pavani Rambaroz, Academy of Excellence, 504, Queen's College. Mohammed Safiruddin Roshandin, Academy of Excellence, 503.9, Queen's College. Krishnan Lachman Narayan, Academy of Excellence, 503, Queen's College. Akeza Forrester, Academy of Excellence, 503.5, Queen's College. Michaela Athalia Harding, Potentia Primary, 503, Queen's College. Emilio Venancio Singh, Academy of Excellence, 502.9, Queen's College. Region number 4. Region 3 has some rowdy teachers, it seems like, too. Region number 4, top student is Afira Ali, Chateau Margaux Primary, 505.7. Is Afira here? There you are. In second place, Aliyah Samira Narain, Success Elementary, 504.9, Queen's College. Afan Azam Ali, Success Elementary, 504.8, Queen's College. Nicholas Anthony Mohammed, Golden Grove Primary, 504, Queens College. Shaquan Giovante Wilson, Swami Purananda Primary, 503.8, Queens College. Vivek Josiah Basu, Success Elementary, 503, Queens College. Ramdial Singh and More Hope Primary, 503, Queens College. Zaina Imam, Success Elementary, 503, Queens College. Ava Avesa Takradin, Success Elementary, 502.9, Queens College. Christian Judah Manohar, Success Elementary, 502.9, Queens College. Chandravani Tularam, Success Elementary, 502.9, Queens College. For region number 5, Diana Hari Prasad, Cotton Tree Primary, 502.1, Queens College. Where's Diana? Shalika Sangeeta Ramroop, Novar Primary, 500.1, Queens College. Justin Danesh Ross, Treasures Primary, 500.1, Queens College. Treasures Primary Academy, that's the full name. Asher Calvin Sahadeo, number 8 Primary, 499.3, Queens College. Devon Sitaya, Cotton Tree Primary, 499.2, Queens College. Afraz Ali, Treasures Primary Academy, 499.2, Queens College. Eliseo Levi Vale Canas, or Kane, Treasures Primary Academy, 498.1, the Bishop's High. Delon Beckles, Belladrum Primary, 496.2, St. Stanislaus College. Giovanna Sue Mohabir, Lachman Singh Primary, 495.4, St. Stanislaus College. Jonathan Prasad, Rosignol Primary, 495.3, St. Stanislaus College. Region number 6. Region number 6 has 3 children who tied for the top spot. They are Annalisa Siriram, Cropper Primary, 502.9, Queens College. Annalisa. Aaron Munisar Anamaya, Cropper Primary, 502.9, Queens College. Jade Archibald, St. Teresa's Primary, 502.9, Queens College. Congratulations. Nathaniel Jainarang, Cumberland Primary, 502.6, Queens College. Riyad Kadir, All Saints Primary, 501.9, Queens College. Marshall Welsh, St. Teresa's Primary, 501.1, Queens College. Anima Sean Abiona Murray, All Saints Primary, 500.2, Queens College. Pauline LaShawn Flats, Rose Hall Primary, 499.1, the Bishop's High. Divanash Kisoon, All Saints Primary, 498.8, the Bishop's High. Amaru Mosley, All Saints Primary, 498.2, the Bishop's High. Region number 7. Aricia Cornelius, Carroll Creek Primary. Kel Van Leeuwen, Potaro Primary, 496, St. Stanislaus College. Michelle Dorick, Potaro Primary, 491.2, St. Rose's High. Shelly-Ann Ruben, Parima Primary, 489.6, St. Joseph's High. Kaden Hussein, St. Anthony's Primary, 483.9, 3 Miles Secondary. Sarah Williams, Potaro Primary, 483.8, 3 Miles Primary. Sandia Hussein, St. Anthony's Primary, 481.6, 3 Miles Primary. Jiria Hastings, Parima Primary, 479.3, DC Caesar Fox Secondary. Alina Ali, St. Anthony's Primary, 479, 3 Miles Secondary. For region number 8, from the Paramakatoy Primary, Ken Kyle Mark, 489.3, St. Joseph's High. Ken, you're here? Christy Eliza Sears, Madhya Primary, 484, Madhya Secondary. Marissa Cindy Gomes, Paramakatoy Primary, 473.8, Paramakatoy Secondary. Alwyn Michael Antonio Singh, Mycobi Primary, 465.1, Mycobi Secondary. Kimani Kenny Booker, Tusaning Primary, 456, Paramakatoy Secondary. Mona Lisa Morna Andrew, Cato Primary, 452.9, Cato Secondary. Devroy Vincius Alfred, Paramakatoy Primary, 452, Paramakatoy Secondary. Afani Amelia Gordon, School of Excellence, 451.9, Madhya Secondary. Colin Pearson, Paramakatoy Primary, 449.4, Paramakatoy Secondary. Tanisha Joy Augustin, Cato Primary, 448.4, Cato Secondary. Region number 9. From the St. Ignatius Primary, Makita Gwen Johnson with 494.4 to St. Stanislaus Secondary. Josiah Javon Sandy, St. Ignatius Primary, 491.7, St. Rose's High. Niall Matthew Alvin, Arapaima Primary, 491.6, St. Rose's High. Diraj Kisoon, Arapaima Primary, 490.7, St. Rose's High. Reynard Charles, Arapaima Primary, 489.7, St. Joseph's High. Keisha Selena LaRose, St. Ignatius Primary, 488.6, St. Joseph's High. Ania Joseph, St. Ignatius Primary, 485.5, St. Ignatius Secondary. Wayne Winter, Ishalton Primary, 482.9, Ishalton Secondary. Osnady Onika LaRose, Ishalton Primary, 480.8, Ishalton Secondary. Sherwin Byron Johnson, Katunarib Primary, 479.9, Sand Creek Secondary. Region number 10. Copying the top spot is Selah Pearl Erskine from Regma Primary with 504.8, Queen's College. Congratulations, Selah. Deliana Hercules, 1 Mile Primary, 504, Queen's College. Atisha Frank, 1 Mile Primary, 503.8, Queen's College. Jeremiah Petal Borges, Royal Halls of Learning, 502.9, Queen's College. Shanique Storm, Amelia's Ward Primary, 502, Queen's College. Amore Chesney, I think this is Zire Chesney, Regma Primary, 501.1, Queen's College. Kezia Ellis, Royal Halls of Learning, 500.9, Queen's College. Xylina Gold Jacobus, 1 Mile Primary, 499.2, Queen's College. Avian Basdeo, Amelia's Ward Primary, 499.2, Queen's College. Deys Dos Santos, Amelia's Ward Primary, 499.2, Queen's College. And then for Georgetown, referred to as Education District 11, Cupping the top spot is Anaya Lisanto Jagnandan, New Guyana School, 506.7, Queen's College. Number 2, Relance Nathaniel Marcus, Green Acres Primary, 505.8, Queen's College. Ariana Amira Samad, Mays Under 12 Primary, 505.8, Queen's College. Samara Tatiana James, Mays Under 12 Primary, 505.8, Queen's College. Aradhya Devi Ramjag, Mays Under 12 Primary, 505.8, Queen's College. Savannah Anasha McIntosh, Green Acres Primary, 505.8, Queen's College. So, just so that you note, and this happened in other places too, Relance, Ariana, Samara, Aradhya, and Savannah all tied for second place in Georgetown. Then there's Ria Annalise Jaisari Singh, New Guyana School, 505.7, Queen's College. Jada Johanna Pike, Winfrey Gardens Primary, 505.7, Queen's College. Maria Padmani Charan, New Guyana School, 504.9, Queen's College. Shavilia Malia Moore, North Georgetown, 504.9, Queen's College. Shemaine Shirley Mackenzie, Mays Under 12, 504.9, Queen's College. And now, details of the candidates securing the top 12 places are indicated as follows. 3 candidates share the top position with 506.7 marks. Glassford Archer of Lenora Primary, Ratisha Gobin of Academy of Excellence, and Anaya Jagnandan of the New Guyana School. And because you had 3 at the number 1 spot, you know, the next position is 4th, but it's really the 2nd highest mark. It's just when you have ties, that's what happens. 4th position was shared by 5 candidates, namely Savannah McIntosh of Green Acres Primary, Aradhya Ramjag of Mays Under 12, please stand, Relance Marcus of Green Acres Primary, Samara James of Mays Under 12, and Ariana Samad of Mays Under 12, all with 505.8 marks. Congratulations. Turn so that they could see you. And then we have Riyad Baksh of Saraswat Primary, Ria Jaisari Singh of the New Guyana School, Afira Ali of Chateau Margaux Primary, Jada, stand if you're here, Jada Pike of Winfrey Gardens Primary, all share the 9th position with the 3rd highest mark, and they secured 505.7 marks each. So warmest congratulations to all of you. I remind you that, and I hope you were hearing me, the children were separated by a 0.1. 0.1 had you in one school, and the next point had you in another school, not even a full mark. Because they worked, as Teddy was able to show you, very, very well. What we saw was more children performing excellently. So you had a bunching at the top. So usually the kids perform in a sort of balanced way. You have some at the top, some in the middle, some at the bottom. This year, we saw more hundreds, more 99s than zeros and fives. So the children performed beautifully. I want to say, I want to express our deep thanks to the teachers who dedicated themselves to this task of educating this grade 6 batch, to the head teachers and administrators, and to the parents who used what we gave. And that's always a painful thing for me. We have so much resources, but your children can only benefit from it if you use it. It's there, it's free, you have to use it. And I want to specifically end by saying thanks to my team, the persons who you don't see in the newspapers, who don't get headlines, but who work every day, long and hard and innovatively to change the way we deliver education and to give every child in this country a fighting chance. I thank you. So my staff at the back. To all of you covering today, I thank you also. Again, warmest congratulations, and may the good Lord bless you all.
I join the Honourable Minister in giving hearty and heartfelt congratulations to all of you. You deserve another round of applause. And now we get to hear from you, our members of the media, persons gathered here, for our question and answer segment that will be managed by the excellently competent Mr. Mertland Halley, the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education.
Thank you very much, Ms. Waldron-Lewis. Good morning. I humbly ask that you permit me to use the established protocol as I take you into the question and answer segment, where we allow members of the press to pose their questions on today's results. We have 2 mics moving. Shane has both of them. So kindly indicate by raising your hand if you have a question to ask. You state the media house you're representing and you pose your question. We have 2 hands at the back. Shane, you could probably start there.
Hey. Hi, good day everyone. Vishani Raghavan from the newsroom.
Just stand, Vishani, so we could see you, please.
I fear I might be blocking NCN if I stand. Sorry. 3 questions from me. In the first instance, we used the consolidated curriculum this year. I'm just wondering if we've been able at this point to determine the correlation between using that consolidated curriculum and the improved performances we're seeing. And to quickly follow up on that, do we expect anything said or shared about the performances of hinterland students compared to those on the coast? At this point in time, can you shed some light on that? And just a little bit off topic, you spoke about going in, these pupils going into secondary school and being involved in the arts, volunteerism, and so many other things. Is that going to be a policy of the ministry going forward? And how will you balance that for the students who want to write many subjects?
Yes. So thanks, Vishani. The first thing on the curriculum, it's not this year alone. We consolidated at the right level for their ability right now and the years of schooling that they had. This is not easier for them. If you had given them work as though they were in school for 2 years, you were failing them before they began. So different countries adopted different means of catching back the time that we lost. Because, Vishani, the children coming in next year are going to be, the children writing next year are children who came out of school in grade 2. That's even worse. And we are seeing some of that. We will announce shortly our literacy plan that is going to be national, nationally applied across levels for September. This is not the forum for that. But the consolidated curriculum continues for at least 2 more years, and then we have to reassess about where we are and whether we can change that. The performance in the hinterland continues to not measure up to the performance on the coast. And while we're seeing better, as you heard, we have children from Rupa now going to Queen's College. We have not been able to, for a variety of reasons, catch the gap there. The hinterland has the lowest number of trained teachers, and we see a direct correlation between, well, there are untrained teachers doing amazing work all across this country. You see a direct correlation between trained teachers and results. What are we doing about that? We have expanded the training college to accommodate anyone who wants to enter there now. And because of that expansion, we are seeing where we used to be able to admit 500, graduate 535, we're now going to be graduating 2,500. So we are going to be able to offer trained teachers all across Guyana. That should bring some more equity. We've also put in place a policy that will get some pushback, and I'll tell you what that is. If you are teaching, you have to go and get trained. Have to get trained. And there are teachers who are teaching who are untrained that might not like that, but we have to do what's in the best interest of children. And so while what we will not do, we're acknowledging here to you that 10 times the amount of work that happens on the coast has to happen in the hinterland. And we're saying to you, we're committed to that route. So it's not us either saying, no, everything is fine, or throwing up our hands. We know what some of the weaknesses are, and we know that we have to catch those weaknesses, and we've already begun to do that. Yeah. Oh, the secondary schools, if it's going to be a policy, absolutely. So we haven't announced it, but we've already begun the preparation for it over a year now, where instruments, because I said to you it's at least one sport, one instrument, one foreign language, a TVET, and a strong sense of volunteerism. So we've already begun to check to see what sports can be offered. So you can't offer cricket at St. John's because it has no space, but we have to see what is close to St. John's that would be a viable sport, or many sporting activities for them. We're in the process of doing that, and very shortly we're going to launch that off across the country. Any more questions?
Good morning. David Popana, Starbrick News. Minister, just 2 questions. Stepping away a little bit from the students, not to steal their shine this year, but the focus again remains on the top pupils and their performance. What is being done to ensure that those who perform poorly are able to benefit significantly in secondary school and not drop out? And secondly, for example, can you say what pupils in the bottom 10 from the past years where are they today?
I didn't hear your second question. There's a buzz coming from here that I'm getting very distracted. Yeah.
Okay.
Second question?
What in the past 10 years or in past years, is there any tracking of what has happened to the bottom 10? Can you hear me better?
A little bit.
Okay. I'm asking what has happened to the bottom 10% of students from past NGSAs?
So, David, across the world, events such as these where results are released, the top children always get the attention in terms of the fanfare. And I wouldn't change it because they have done well and they should be celebrated. What we should not do is forget the children who, through no fault of their own, were not able to cope with this level of work. I said to you just now, and I'm not going to go into details here, you might have seen that we appointed an assistant chief education officer specifically for literacy, and that's an entire department by itself. The main problem with children being unable to cope with the papers and the work is their literacy level. That has been studied and determined by us. We're sure about that, except for children who have learning difficulties because of various disabilities. And so two things are happening. One, we're collaborating with the Ministry of Health and this is in no particular order, we're collaborating with Ministry of Health to screen all primary children for basic health issues. And two, the literacy program that I said that's going to be nationally applied across levels, nursery, primary, and secondary, will start in September. And we believe that once we're able to change the way children read and comprehend, that we're going to be able to change whether they want to stay in school, whether they stay in school, and how they perform. We are also diversifying what we offer. So it's not going to be, and that's why the poem didn't cause us any sweat. It's not going to be just the traditional academic subjects. We're trying to make sure we cater for the different needs the country has that are arising and different interests that children have. And so we're tweaking our own offerings. For example, we said everybody from September, every stream must offer IT and EDPM and a foreign language and a TVET subject, every single stream. We're looking at very early from grade 7 first form about where children might want to stream off into. So a variety of different things, and we're not going to tell you piecemeal. We're going to sit down at a full press conference and release what we want to do for secondary education that will make it more equal.
Good afternoon. I'm Renata from Nightly News. Just two questions. Given that the Ministry of Education has invested billions of dollars in construction for schools to ease overcrowding, can you give any updates whether or not it would be on the completion of where next or how this has been going thus far? And also on the issue of the overcrowding, particularly at Ngsa Primary, there has been reports of that overcrowding being as a result to parents. Ngsa. There has been reports that that overcrowding has been a cause of persons lying on their address to attain that school. Is there anything being done to ease that or to address that issue?
Yeah, so I'll tell you about the construction, and then the Chief Education Officer will update you on the Graham's Hall problem. So we've embarked on a universal secondary education program. That means, and when we were, the People's Progressive Party, Civic, was running for elections, it said to the population that if you give us your votes, if you invest in us, we will invest back in you by making sure children all across this country, wherever you live, could access a secondary education. And so in Region 1 this afternoon, we're going to be signing contracts for 2 schools. Well, 1 school, we signed one 2 days ago. So we're building back the Northwest Secondary, which was destroyed by arson. We signed a contract for, or we're going to sign a contract for the Hosororo Secondary this afternoon. In Region 3, we just opened, Region 2, we just opened the Abram-Zoul Secondary. In Region 3 this afternoon, we're signing a contract for the construction of a brand new Tushan Secondary School, plus we will build a secondary school at Vreeden Hoop. Here in Region 4, we've expanded Queen's College, Bishops, St. Rose's, St. Winifred's, East Ruimveldt, and North Ruimveldt is being rebuilt. It was destroyed by fire. On the East Coast, in Region 4, we just opened the Good Hope Secondary. We're about to open the Yarrow Cabra Secondary, and we will be constructing a secondary school at Prospect Secondary. In Region 5, we're providing transportation for children to get out of the riverine areas into the secondary schools that exist. In Region 6, we're building a secondary school at Oriala to cater for the Oriala Siparuta students. In Region 7, we're going to be building a secondary school at Jawala. Region 8 at Kopinang. Region 9, we've already begun a school at Karasabay. So I think and in Georgetown, we're rebuilding the Christchurch Secondary, which was destroyed by arson. We're rebuilding St. George's and St. Mary's in Christchurch, in Georgetown. You asked me when are those finishing. So the Region 1 schools should finish enough to give us back for next September. Region 2, Abram-Zoul is finished. Region 3 for next September. Region 4, QC Bishops Roses will be given to us in the July month, this month. St. Winifred's and East Ruimveldt is going to be handed over this month. North Ruimveldt is going to be finished in October. In Region 4, we got Good Hope already. We've opened that, and we're getting Yarrow Cabra in a week's time, or 2 weeks' time. Region 6, we expect by next September to have Oriala. Region 9, Karasabay has begun, and they're going to give us parts of the facility by next September. I think that's it. And that should severely ease the overcrowding. Now, when I assumed office in August of 2020, there were simply no places to put people. Because, you know, the Minister of Finance asked me, did these children just land on you? And I said, well, technically they did, because I just landed in the job. But we could have guessed in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, we could have guessed that we would have an overcrowding problem in 2020 because the children had entered school in those years. Nothing was built. Not a single secondary school started or finished in those years. And so we came in with this huge problem on our heads. And it's really very upsetting. The children at Queenstown Secondary go to school half day because they have to make space for the other children who didn't come in that half day to come in on that at that time. But I'm very, very pleased that we're going to see a very different picture. The next time I stand before you, we won't have an overcrowding problem in Georgetown. We will not. And mostly across the country where children were not even able to access secondary schools and were going to primary tops, that's primary schools offering a secondary program, that's going to stop. Yeah. Oh, Graham's Hall.
Good afternoon. As it relates to Graham's Hall Primary School, on our investigation by the technical staff of the Ministry of Education, we discovered that the school had in excess of 300 students above its capacity. I don't need to tell you the issues that caused in terms of washroom facilities, in terms of space, in terms of a host of other things. The professional staff of the Ministry of Education, led by the Assistant Chief for Primary, sat down and we had no choice. We had to look at those students who were placed at the school. We had to look at every single student who was placed at the school from grades 1, 2, and 3. We began by doing a first round of verification to ensure that the students who are found are living within the catchment of that school. And so we did one round, and we identified more than 140 students who were not within the catchment, who had used, in some cases, very creative ways of being members of that catchment. And so we held several meetings with the parents, and we offered 3 options to the parents. One option, of course, would be to go to a second location, and we would provide all the necessary teachers and so on. I think that was Vrijslust Primary. There is a building there. We offered that. We offered a second option of going to a school, providing that there is space, a school, primary school closer to home. As I say this, I remember there was a student who was attending that school from Maikoni, and was attending Graham's Hall Primary School. The third option we gave, if none of those was conducive, then the final option would be that we would use a temporary arrangement at the school. We recognize that parents may not have the necessary resources to move the students across, and so we offered the students, the parents, a uniform allowance so that they could procure new uniforms for whichever school they were going. We met with the parents. Parents said that they were not satisfied with the round of verification that we did. We did a second round of verification. And so there were about 40 students who would have taken another location. The majority of students, parents opted for their children to remain at the school. So the students are taught in a separate arrangement at that school. For this new academic year, what will happen is that there will be 3 or 4 levels of verification before students are placed at the primary schools. Secondly, the intake for Graham's Hall will be less this year in an effort to reduce the number of students in classes. As you look at the audience here today, this is what a classroom at Graham's Hall looked like. This is what it was. This is not healthy, and more importantly, this is not safe. I wish to remind, as I'm given the forum here, I wish to remind that the Ministry of Education does not have any rule that says your child has to be placed close to where you work. It's a concession. If there is space, then this can be accommodated. If, conditional, if there is space. If there is no space, then it cannot be accommodated. I just want to say that this was an activity that was undertaken strictly by the professional arm of the Ministry of Education. Thank you.
That arose from a complaint. We were opening the early childhood center at the University of Guyana, and parents there rose on camera, rose to say that they were very unhappy with the overcrowding and so on. So I know you have some parents who are not happy that their children have to move, but the majority of parents at a PTA meeting took that decision that they wanted the numbers in the classroom to be that resembling a conducive one. Any other questions? Yes.
Good afternoon at this time. Again, a resounding congratulations to all the students who are gathered here and are placed at the national schools, and those who are placed at schools that continue to work and ensure that they meet their goals. Ms. Stacy Mona Gomes, West MR Secondary. 2 questions. One, you've stated that West Lemoire Secondary, as a teacher I'm asking.
Oh.
Thank you. provisions were made for the NGSA to allow those migrant students to write in their language, just to enlighten us as to their performance, how they fared the exam, and also for their transition to secondary, what provisions are made for them.
Right.
My experience during the pandemic, I had one child, and I wasn't aware that she couldn't understand English until we went face to face, and I had to come up with some things to teach. I'm not Spanish trained, and school would have taken individually how we go about assessing her, but when it comes to formal assessment, there lies a problem. So for the secondary level, how are we assisting these students when transitioning? Thank you.
So the fact that we did the Spanish papers for children and gave them choices, you could read it in Spanish and write in Spanish and we'll mark it. You could read it in Spanish and write in English. You could read it in English and write in Spanish. We gave a variety of options because we know how difficult it must be for children of this age whose parents were forced to flee their own familiar land to come here for succor and comfort. And so we are looking at two things: concentrating the children in particular schools where very focused programs can be had. That's extending the school day. We just had some experts from the Ministry of Education study that. And possibly, so we are looking at how we can offer a sound secondary education to children whose first language at this point is not English. It's receiving our attention.
Share with us their performance at the NGSA.
I don't think, NDMA, did you disaggregate that, or will we do it afterwards? We can do it afterwards. They didn't disaggregate it.
Amanda Marshall from MTV. Minister, it has been observed that at the National Grade 6 Assessment results, boys tend to perform slightly lower than girls. Could you please provide an analysis of the factor influencing this trend? Is it because there's less boys? And can you share if there's any strategies the ministry is doing to bridge this performance gap?
Thank you. This is a trend that we've seen. We could get the sociologists and psychologists to study that. I don't want to proffer an opinion here. We've seen boys doing well. We have some right here with us. We've seen boys doing better. We certainly have seen, and this is a conversation for a different time, a higher retention rate at secondary of our boys, which was a concerning matter for us. But, look, education is, all the parents here, of all the children here, could tell you they have one thing in common. It's not degrees, it's not PhDs, it's not teachers. I know there are 2 teachers at least who has a son here. And there is a lawyer who has a son, a magistrate who has a son here, and some very highly lettered people. There's a lawyer who has a son here. But there are also people here who will tell you themselves, without shame, that they don't have a degree and they barely finish secondary school, if at all. But they have one thing in common, the parents. They supported their children throughout their primary education. They made sure they went to school. So we give the cash grant, but we can't come in your house and comb your children's hair and give them their roti and send them to school. You parents still have a role. They made them eat well, and well doesn't mean wealthy, it means well. They stayed up with them when they needed to study. They cleared the dining table. They turn off the TV because it's too close to where the study area is. They went when they had PTAs and heard what teacher had to say and went back home and implemented it. Education, success at education, and there are always exceptions, will be a collaboration between the government, who has a political will to make sure your children do well, a Ministry of Education who's rolling that out effectively, the school's administration and teachers, the region's education department who's monitoring what happens in that school, and your homes. And if any one of those go wrong, we begin to jeopardize that child's chances of success. So I think we have to come together as parents and teachers and so to see how we can inspire boys more. Maybe we're not teaching the way they want to learn. Maybe they're more practical, maybe they're more hands-on. So I know NSERD is having a study about what our renewed curriculum should look like so that it engages everybody and not just the strictly academic type child who will sit down and be committed to studying and not move for all the hours they commit to and so on. It's best I can say on that right now. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to implore the members of the media to be gentle with these students. I would like their stories told, and they would like their stories told. But please don't make this an unpleasant experience. 2 years ago, the top student said she hated her words, the experience. And if she knew that, well, she had said she didn't expect the top, but she said if she knew she had to do that, she would give up the top space. I'm sure you don't want that to be your legacy. So in questioning them and getting their story, please remember their very delicate age.
So this section of the program is where there is a tangible recognition of those students who receive the top spots in the different education districts. And in this exercise, you will be seeing the children, and they are going to be gifted by our Honorable Minister, our Permanent Secretary, as well as advisor to the Minister of Education, Ms. Africa Selman. So our candidate securing the top spot in Region 1 is Shoshana Henry of Posororo Primary. Ms. Selman, can you begin the process with us, please? So Shoshana Henry, please come up. I'm sorry, Shoshana Henry. Please be prepared to come up. Avron Joshua Dudnot from Sparta Primary. Need bigger hands. For region number 3, we have Glassford George Odwin Archer of Lenora Primary. And also tying for the top spot in Region 3 is Ritisha Amisha Gobin from the Academy of Excellence. Congratulations there. Thank you, Ms. Selman. In preparation for our continued... Sorry? Oh, my apologies. I'd like to invite from Sarswat Primary, Mr. Rayad Nathan Baksh, who also tied for the top spot in Region 3. Ms. Selman? Oh, here we are. Mr. King, please be on standby. This is a good problem to have, sir. Too many presents for little hands. For district number 4, we have Afira Ali of Chateau Margaux Primary, being presented by the DPS administration. Congratulations, Afira, sorry. For region number 5, welcome up Diana Hari Prashad of Cotton Tree Primary. Thank you, Mr. Ramdani. Permanent Secretary, can you come help us, please? For Region 6, we have 3 persons tied for the top spot. First, Annalisa Siriram from Cropper Primary. We also have from Cropper Primary, Aaron Munisar Anamaya. Congratulations, young sir. And from St. Teresa's Primary, Jade Archibald. For district number 7, from Carroll Creek Primary, Aricia Cornelius. Congratulations. Thank you, PS. Our next presenter is our Assistant Chief Education Officer with responsibility for primary education, Mr. Rabindra Singh. This is the Redo, now ACO, who goes overseas and over trees to get our children learning. For region number 8, Ken Kyle Mark from Paramakatoy Primary. For region number 9, from St. Ignatius Primary, we have Miss Makita Gwen Johnson. And on a brief return to District 10, the last district he served in before becoming ACO, we welcome from Regma Primary, Sella Pearl Erskine. Thank you, ACOP. And finally, District 11, I invite the Honorable Minister to do the awards. With 8 children tying for the top spot. From New Guyana School, first up is Anaya Lisanto Jagnandan. From Green Acres Primary, Relance Nathaniel Marcus. Well done. From Mays Under 12 Primary, Ariana Amira Samad. I apologize, Amira. Okay. Also from Mays Under 12, we have Samara Tatiana James. Our second top spotter from Green Acres Primary is Savannah Anasha McIntosh. From the New Guyana School, Rhea Annalise Jaisiri Singh. From the Winfrey Gardens Primary, we welcome Jada Joanna Pike. And from the New Guyana School, Maria Padmini Charan. Is Maria here? Padmini Charan? Well, we congratulate her even in her absence. From North Georgetown Primary, we have, oh, I'm so sorry. That's the end of Georgetown. However, Minister, I would like you to stay to make your special announcement, as well as to acknowledge that these have gifts to be received as well. So I welcome Clara Gasgo to the fore. And shortly thereafter, Rihanna Chappelle. If you remember, Claire had the best short story and Rihanna had the best letter.
So in 2022, we started something. We said, if you got the best letter in the country, the best essay in the country, and fell within the national schools, you would automatically earn a space to Queen's College. So these two girls, although they didn't actually, their marks in the other subjects didn't give them Queen's College, they will be offered a spot at Queen's College.
Thank you, Minister. Yes. As we wind our way to the conclusion of our ceremony, it was Stacey Lee, a young adult fiction author, who said, "The two words that will change your life are thank you. Like a candle that can light 1,000 more without shortening its own life, appreciation is a gift that, when given, can set the whole world aglow." Today, I would like to set the room aglow by acknowledging a few key teams without whom today's event would not have been made possible. First of all, you learners who showed steadfast determination and are now reaping the great rewards of your sacrifice. The teachers who selflessly also sacrificed to ensure that children across our land receive the best of them so that they could put forward the best of themselves. We want to publicly thank you for your stewardship and tremendous service to the nation. The parents who try daily to create the atmosphere that allows your children to thrive and succeed, sometimes even in ways that surpass your own strivings and achievings. The Minister of Education, for leading the charge towards excellence in education service delivery, and her team, her generals, colonels, lieutenants, and privates who follow her through the fire every day to make this a reality for Guyana. CXC and her local counterparts for delivering such quality service from the moment an item is selected to when results are announced. The examination administration team within the Ministry of Education, led by Mr. Amir Ali, our Assistant Chief Education Officer with responsibility for examinations, and Mrs. Sada Kadir Grant, our Superintendent of Exams, for keeping the processes streamlined and running on schedule. Well, ahead of schedule, actually. Today's event production team, led by Ms. Anisha Mohammed, head of the Guyana Learning Channel. The management and staff of the Pegasus Suites for being such gracious hosts. members of the media fraternity who help to keep us accountable when needed and help to share all that is getting done right in equal measure. And finally, any other person not mentioned by name who lent a hand, an ear, a pair of eyes, and helpful supportive thoughts, words, and actions to make today's ceremony a success. I thank you on behalf of the Minister and the Ministry of Education. Gracias, obrigado, merci, and thank you.